Welcome to a special episode of Epic Gen Table Talk. Today we're coming to you from Durham College Whitby campus to explore the exciting world of skilled trades. This place is jam-packed with state-of-the-art technology, workshops, and spaces designed to prepare students for real-world careers. Stay tuned as we dive into the world of skilled trades. Hey Tristan and Janelle, it's so nice seeing you guys here.
You too.
Aren't you guys so happy that we're finally out of the studio and we're here at the Durham College Whitby campus?
Absolutely. I was just checking out all the different areas on campus, and all the tools and equipment are just so fascinating. Like the fact that this is where future welders, plumbers, electricians are all practicing their skills is so inspiring.
Yeah, I'd say this place is building real-world skills. Honestly, I didn't know much about the skilled trades until we came here, but just imagine, people here are like gonna build houses, fix cars, and keep our heating and cooling systems running smoothly.
Exactly, this place is so cool. So after looking at all the cool programs that Durham College has to offer, is there anything that piqued your interest? And if you could do a trade outside of high school, would you? Personally, for me, I really like the idea of welding. Like, I think holding a blowtorch and molding those two pieces of metal together is such a beautiful art form. Actually, I saw this lady on TikTok and she makes the most beautiful metal pieces with a welder.
That's so awesome. It sounds so fun to be able to weld. Personally, for me, I think I'd try out like hairstyling because I really want to learn how to do my own hair because, to be honest, every time I've done my own hair, it hasn't really ended up well. I remember I tried cutting my bangs and it ended up here.
But it looks good, it grew out,
Thank you.
Well, I haven't really thought about that much, but I guess if I were to, I would be in like the renewable energy areas, like helping homes go green, installing solar panels.
Ooh, I think we actually talk about that, guys. So moving on, skilled trades are so cool because it's not only physical work. I'm sure you mentioned renewable energy and hairstyling. Like those are all careers that you could go into, and they're actually really high in demand right now.
Right. Employers are always looking for plumbers, technicians, you name it. And get this, the pay is amazing. And some jobs, they even let you earn while you're training.
Exactly. I looked at the job postings, and there are so many opportunities. And for example, welding can pay up to $40 an hour.
Oh my God.
And electrical technicians, they can go as high as $60 an hour with the right experience.
Oh my goodness. So even though skilled trades have so many opportunities, like that's a lot of money, I find that a lot of people tend to overlook it. Why do you guys think that is?
I think some people might be scared because it's too hands-on or physical, which is what scares them off. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize just how many skilled trades mix in with creativity and technical skills.
See, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people think that university is like the only way to go, but the skilled trades are just as valuable. And there is so much potential for growth and success in those fields.
Totally. I mean, skilled trades aren't just about the jobs. They can lead to owning a business, to traveling, to teaching. There's so many opportunities. When we return, we'll have a chat with the Executive Dean and Associate Dean of Skilled Trades and Apprenticeship from Durham College to get a dive into the education behind the trades. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Epic Gen Table Talk. Now we're excited to dive deeper into the world of skilled trades with our special guests. We have Dr. Rebecca Milburn, who is the principal of Durham College's Whitby campus and the executive dean of the Faculty of Skilled Trades and Apprenticeship. And we also have Mr. Martin Jones, who is the associate dean of the Faculty of Skilled Trades and Apprenticeship. Thank you so much for sitting down with us today.
Thanks for joining us on our campus. We're happy to host you.
Welcome. We always like to show off our great campus.
Many teens today aren't as informed about the skilled trades as they should be, but looking at what they have here at Durham College and all the programs that they have, we know that it goes so far beyond it. So can you tell us about what the skilled trades are and why they're important?
Wow, I'll start. Lots to unpack there. The skilled trades the possibilities are enormous. We have at Durham College 12 different trades you could try. And I'm pretty sure that you'll find one that will excite your educational potentials. Skilled trades are very hands-on, and we like to build things. As you can see, we're in the elevating shop right now. So we build, we create. I always like to say that everything lands in an apprenticeship or skilled trades person's hands, because you have to have us to bring it to life. So without the skilled trades, you don't have a house, you don't have a hospital or infrastructure or roads. So I'd like to say that we're important in everything we do in the real world.
And the trades is just a starting point. So once you get through and get your licensing, so I'm an electrician, I got a 309A and a 442A. You can go wherever you want to after that. It's just the starting point. So you can work your way into almost any other career you want to get into. Or you can stay being whatever trade you're in, because we always need good trade people. So it's always good. Lots of work out there for you. Lots of these senior tradespeople are retiring, so there's going to be lots of opportunity for people to get it and get good paying jobs.
Well, it seems like there's a lot to explore in the trades. But for teens who aren't sure where to start, how can they find a path that might be right for them?
There's lots of opportunities. One of the best kept secrets, I would say, would be the OEAP program, which allows students in grade 11 or 12 to experience the trade of their choice. We host 6 different trades here, and the students come to our campus to take their level 1 in plumbing or electrical or millwrighting, welding, automotive, and cook. So we have quite a span of different opportunities. But the students get to come here and train, and then they get to go in the workplace as well. So they get to take what they've learned here in the shops and actually bring it to life out there. That's one gem, I would say, that is something that high school students should consider if they're given an opportunity.
If they aren't sure which trade they want to go into, we have a really good one-year program here where it's 2 semesters. So the first semester they get several trades to try, and then the second semester they get to try different trades. So Trade Fundamentals gives all the students an opportunity to try all the trades that are available here at the campus, and then they can decide at that point which one they like the best. And they also find out how they sort of coexist with each other.
It's amazing how much skilled trades are really around us in our everyday lives. So Durham College offers a wide variety of skilled trade programs. What would you guys say are some of the most exciting and unique programs that teens should definitely check out?
Wow, I know what Martin's going to say. Martin's an electrician, so he'll say that electrical is the most dynamic and interesting trade. I would say, I'm not disagreeing, I would say carpentry and renovation would be something, if I had a choice to make, I'd make that choice. I love the smell of the wood shop. I love being able to see they're building houses in there, and watching you get the skills to replicate that is amazing. So I would say the most interesting one for me would be carpentry and renovation. Martin?
Yeah, I would agree with that statement, but from a student point of view, if they have some interest somewhere, then that's what they should pursue. So I'm an electrician. I always wanted to be an electrician since I was in high school, but I would say carpentry is my backup trade. But I've known people that have always wanted to be plumbers and people that have always wanted to be auto mechanics. And my son's a cook. He always wanted to cook, so he went into and became a chef, and now he runs several restaurants. So there's lots of opportunities, and whatever the passion of the student is, that's where they should start and explore that.
And I think, Martin, you made a comment before about how the trades intertwine with each other. Many of the trades learn about the other trades within their training. A good example is welding. Welding, although you could be a welder, automotive mechanics take welding, millwrights take welding, steam fitters, pipe fitters, and plumbers all take welding. So the trades, although they're distinct, they actually have a lot of synergies between the skills that they learn.
Wow, I wouldn't have known about this synergy, this harmony between the different trades if you hadn't told us. So since the skilled trades are really well known for like offering good pay and job opportunities, can you tell us about the types of jobs that are available and the anticipated pay that a student might receive after completing their program?
Wow. I would say, if we want to unpack that a little more, I think one thing that many students, potential students in the trades might overlook is the fact that you can be your own boss. So that's an important element where you might decide that you want to relocate to a new space, and you can become your own boss, and that is very empowering. You can run your own business. You can hire your own team to do the work. Another piece to that is you can be an electrician, you can be a plumber, depending on the different regulations. You don't have to stay in Ontario. You can go wherever the work is, and the work is plentiful. If you're ready to work hard, there'll be work out there for you to do.
And not just in Canada, anywhere in the world. So as an electrician, as long as they're dealing with the same voltages as we are, I can work anywhere. I've had job offers all over the place, right, to go. So if you want to travel within North America, that's great. But you can also, with the trades, you could travel anywhere, right? So it's a good opportunity. And I know that everybody thinks about the wages and that, but if you truly like what you're doing, then the money will come, right? So that's the good thing. The other thing about the trades is that if you get an apprenticeship, which is how you become licensed and get through the trade, you get paid to learn. So it's what I like to call reverse co-op. So you go to work for almost a whole year, and then you go to school for 8 or 9, 10 weeks, depending on the trade. Then you go back to work, and all that time you're earning money. Plus there's lots of government incentives, so there's grants, and you get employment insurance while you're attending school. So it's also a great way to learn and develop.
I think another important piece, and Martin's a good example of that. He's an electrician, he's trained, he has transformed himself into being an educator. So once the tools are tough physically, but if you don't want to always stay on the tools or in the job, you can move into be an educator. So you become the professor who's teaching the next generation. A lot of our faculty here are just that. They've come off the tools, and now they want to give back to the next generation and teach them the passion they have. You met Ed tonight. Ed has the same trajectory. He has taken that passion, and now he's giving it back to the next generation.
Well, thank you so much for those incredible insights. I think we've learned a lot about the skill trades today. So stay tuned, because when we come back, we're getting a live campus tour and see these programs in action. Don't go away.
All right, we're all excited and ready to take you on an exclusive campus tour. Let's check out where all the action happens. Come along as we show you Durham College's skill trades in action.
So this is our plumbing shop, our lab space, where we do the actual practical hands-on part. Is actually 2 spaces. So this lower level that we're in right now, as well as that level just above us. Actually what you're standing beside right now over here is what we call our piping stations. And as you correctly pointed out, there's pipes obviously there. And the other thing I know that you noticed right away was these are pressure gauges. So on these particular labs, we do piping projects. And I can actually show you one that's almost, I think, all built together. Just behind us, if you spin around, you might see 3 pieces of pipe coming down over there. So 2 black pipe and then a copper pipe going down. So the 3 pipe, they're like what we call a parallel offset. So 3 pieces of pipe coming down together, and they combine this when they do this class with a practical math class for plumbing. So in order for them to maintain that pipe as it goes through so it stays the same width all the way through to do that 45-degree offset. They do a bunch of different math calculations. So stuff that you guys might have already seen before in math, like Pythagoras theorem type of stuff for math. So just behind me here, if we go back a little bit further, so you guys might obviously notice that there's a lot of rocks there. So this is like to simulate when we do plumbing, we have to do stuff that's inside buildings, inside walls, but stuff that's actually underground. So literally under this rocks here, there's a pipe that runs. So the students will learn how to not only connect from the ground up through the house and through the building. So in this area, which we can't really see too much right now, but just right above us here are wooden walls that simulate washrooms.
Oh, that's so cool.
So above us, there's, I can't remember how many there is. I think there's like 14. I always forget how many there is, but what we call them bays, but basically like little mini washrooms where there's a bathtub going to be installed, a toilet can be installed, and a sink can be just installed. So there is some piping hanging down right here from the ceiling right now. So this is where they actually assimilate putting it all together and connecting it from the ground up to the upstairs. So when you guys, I know that most of us when we're in our houses, obviously the walls are already built and everything, so we just see like the toilet, we see the sink, right? We see it's a nice color, is it shiny, right? All that stuff, which is the water work and all that stuff. So they're doing all this stuff that's kind of behind the scenes. So the when we use a sink or use a toilet, is where does that water go? So they're hooking up on what we call all the drainage piping and what we call the vent piping, as well as like water piping as well.
Yeah, I've never thought about it that way. Like, this is so cool seeing the behind the scenes of things.
Yeah. So the students, when they are in plumbing, they have to learn all different types of material because plumbing is actually more than just sinks, bathtubs, and toilets. And there is a variety of different materials that are accessible by code. So these are all the different types of fittings that they would use with different types of material. These are fittings, what we call fittings, so that something attaches a pipe to another pipe. So like this is like what we call a 45-degree turn. So this one attaches to a certain type of pipe. So I don't think you might notice that there's like a little bit of a groove here in the pipe. So that's the type of way of joining a piece of pipe together that would have the same type of end on it. Like Lego, right? Put this piece, all I have to do is detach from here to here. But without knowing the proper rules and what I'm going to do, because behind plumbing there's, I would say like an overwhelming amount of science, but there's a lot of science involved in it, how things work. This is a lab on is hydronic heating. So they can actually see a couple of our labs are already put all together, like this one here, where it's all put together, but again, in a small space. It's supposed to like simulate sort of a house. Instead of being in a big house, it's just all in one space. So they have stuff like this where it's a boiler that actually heats up the water and then sends the water out to different areas. So as I was talking about before, the in-floor heating, this would be like the tubing that would be below the floor before they put down the tile floor that the water would run through. And in some cases, this is a small version, but actually some people have radiators. So where if you don't have forced air, you might have hydronic heating where they have it along the window. So yeah, just recently we divided it up. So you might notice that there's 2 rows of stations here, pipe in the middle, and then 2 rows of stations. We actually can have 2 different classes of 20 students at one time learning, as well as another 20 upstairs learning, depending on where they are in their plumbing. We teach plumbing post-secondary students who do for 1 year. And then we also teach plumbing students who are now into their apprenticeship. So apprenticeship means, so for our particular trade, you have to complete apprenticeship, which means that you're completing 9,000 hours of learning.
Wow.
So 9,000 hours. So a large chunk, so about 90% of that hours is working in the field with a company, with a person beside you who's obviously experienced and licensed. So hands-on learning and getting paid. So learning and getting paid, right, which is good, right? So you're not only learning, you're getting paid to learn, which I think is a bonus. And then for our plumbing apprenticeship, you have to come back to school 3 times throughout those 9,000 hours. So basically it's about 4.5, 5-year process from beginning to end to actually have a full certified license to be able to be a plumber.
So this is our room that we use for level 1 or first year electrical students, so they can learn how to do services here, wire them up, install them. Along these walls here is where they hook up the boxes and put all the receptacles and switches in. Right? And you can see there's a service there. And then they get the chance to work a little bit with the solar panels as well. Now, these were designed by one of our faculty members, and they're for students to get a handle on switches and how switches work. And it's what we call extra low voltage, so there's very little chance of anybody getting hurt. So there's all the test leads you see over there, and then they hook them into the plugs there, and then they can make anything work. They got circuits they follow, and then they can hook them up and make things happen.
So those long blue things over there, what exactly do they do?
Oh, these things, they're for bending conduit. So when you're in the plumbing shop, right, they had pipe. So these are a manual way of bending conduit. So the conduit goes in here, and you put them on the floor, and then as you put it, it puts a 90 or changes the angle.
What do technical electricians do?
What do electricians do? Okay, so there's different types of electricians. So in this province, you have to be licensed to work on anything that's electrical. So there's what they call a 309A, which is the maintenance and construction. So they'd be the people that would wire up the services for your house and put all the breakers in and such. 309C strictly works on houses, residential. And then we have a 442A, which is industrial. So anytime you work in a factory with the electrical motors and that sort of thing. So the electricians are required to hook up the wires, so feed the houses or the factories or the commercial establishments.
What is the coolest project that you guys have built here?
Built here?
Yeah.
Well, we got some really interesting stuff once you get beyond the entry level. So upstairs we got some really high-end equipment. We can hook up fire alarms, so the fire alarms that are in your school or in this building, we teach them how to hook all those up. And we have a lot of simulators upstairs where they can do testing and hooking up of three-phase motors and standard motors and that sort of thing. Also, we do instrumentation, and that instrumentation, the simplest way to think about that is when you're in your house and it gets cold, the thermostat turns on your furnace, and that's instrumentation. So in an industrial setting, if you think about making Coca-Cola or whatever, there'd be a lot of instrumentation and a lot of motors and those installations. So electricians would look after the electrical part of that.
So green energy is becoming really popular lately. How do electricians play into that?
Okay, so you can see the photo cells there. So if you're going to go with any type of generation of electrical power, then the electricians would have to wire that up, and they would then connect it to transformers. Then the transformers then would transmit the electricity over the big wires you see all over, and then they'd be going to another transformer, and they would be stepped down, and it would end up in a house or a factory or some commercial property or whatever. So electricians are very involved in green technology.
So right now with the whole new energy kick, I've been seeing a lot of electrical cars. How do electrical technicians feed into that?
Okay, so the charging for the electric cars would all be hooked up by electricians. The cars then have huge batteries in them, and so electricians can work on the battery component of it. Also, the motors that drive the electric cars are in some cases three-phase or the same stuff you would see in industry. So in our program, we do have some electricians that are consulting with the auto mechanics on how to handle the high voltages and how to fix the electric motors that are in the vehicles.
And that wraps up our tour of Durham College's skilled trades programs. We hope you enjoyed exploring the opportunities with us. Keep an eye out because we might have some more on a bunch of different trades coming to you soon. As always, thanks for joining us, and we can't wait to see you next time on Epic Gen Table Talk.